Saturday morning, a shooter opened fire during a baby naming ceremony inside a Pittsburgh synagogue.
It is jewel products like these that are the target of the FDA's new ban.
4 floodgates are open at Mansfield Dam in Austin as the city prepares for possible flooding.
When you think of a prison, some words that may come to mind are fear, isolation, confinement. The folks who are cleaning up from Hurricane Michael down in Florida are sending a message loud and clear to looters.
Well, believe it or not, holiday stress is actually a real thing. You know, whether it's those relatives you've been avoiding all year long, you're going to see them soon, or you have these amazing gifts you want to buy and only that much money.
Technology becomes more and more perfected. Do you think self-driving vehicles will replace the need to have a human behind the wheel? This is one of the streets that was evacuated. Now, I want to show you something. Check out this huge, heavy piece of twisted metal.
President Trump is threatening to close the U.S. southern border and cut off all aid to Central America. The Salvation Army is asking for monetary donations instead of physical goods.
In health news tonight, it is the future of medicine. Doctors tracking if your medications are working from a tiny pill that is inside your stomach.
South Beckham Avenue has reopened after being shut down since 3 p.m. This after a fire broke out at the Jones Engraving. The owner told the fire department he was using a bandsaw for cutting a spark from a saw when it went into a box of magnesium shavings. The fire department did evacuate a few nearby businesses as a precautionary measure due to the smoke, but workers have been able to return. While the road has been reopened and the fire is out, Tyler ISD did say buses were being rerouted and it should not affect pickup times. Well, it's still cloudy here at the station, but it looks like the rain has given us a bit of a break. The question is, how long will that last? We'll check in with Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here in just a moment, but first, the entertainment capital of East Texas will be designated as a Texas music-friendly community. That's happening tonight. Lindale is only the 5th city to receive this title, and celebrating happening now at Love and War in Texas at the Cannery, and CBS 19's Peyton Weidman is there now. Hey, Peyton. Thank you so much, Peyton. And Brookshire Grocery Company is moving its playground from the World of Wildlife Museum to Fresh. That's according to a post on the museum's social media page. The company said the move and expansion of the playground is part of its 90th anniversary celebration. The post said the current playground area is at Fresh by Brookshire's patio is for toddlers and young children and is open during store hours daily. Now, the new playground for older children will be near the store's north entrance and will be open daily until dusk. Right now, they're researching and evaluating options for that museum. And the finishing touches on the Rose Show display are now complete. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was held this morning overlooking Tyler's famous Rose Garden to officially kick off the 85th Rose Festival in Tyler. After the ceremony, dignitaries, Rose Queen Court members, and their families took part in a prayer service and a quiet time of acknowledging blessings before a hectic next few days. And tonight we want to know, what is your favorite thing about the Rose Festival? The fabulous dresses, the Rose Parade, or just seeing all those roses? Head on over to cbs19.tv/vote and let us know what you think. We'll share those results later in the show. Well, it looks pretty clear out there for now, but is the rain just waiting for the weekend again? Let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes. He is standing by in the Weather Center. Well, speaking of flooding, 4 floodgates are open at Mansfield Dam in Austin as the city prepares for possible flooding. The Lower Colorado River Authority says they may need to open all 8 of those gates, which has never happened before, and it could lead to flooding in Lake Austin and Lady Bird Lake. The entire city of Marble Falls is still under a boil water notice, and people who are still displaced from their homes are having trouble finding places to eat. The city also sent out a notice about debris pickup as they brace for more rain in the coming days. And the state and defense have agreed more DNA testing is needed for an East Texas capital murder case can go to trial. Gustavo Zavala Garcia is accused of killing 10-year-old Kayla Gomez Orozco in November 2016. He appeared in court this morning for a pretrial hearing. He was allegedly one of the last people to see her before she went missing that day, November 1st. From the Bullard First Assembly on U.S. Highway 69. Now, her body was found 4 days later on Zavala Garcia's property in Bullard. This video went viral overnight of a woman leaving a child alone outside a stranger's home, and she might be facing charges. It happened about 8:30 last night, and the woman, now identified as a friend of the child's mother, knocked on the door and ran back to her car before anyone could answer, leaving behind the child and 2 bags. When the homeowner answered the door, she found the toddler with no one else around.
It's clear she definitely didn't walk. She ran up to the door, ran away from the door, and had she waited just 7 more seconds, the homeowner would have opened the door and maybe would have started a conversation, a dialogue to direct her to the correct house to drop the child off.
Investigators have not released the identity of the mother's friend, but said that after speaking with the district attorney's office, she could face felony abandonment charges. Simmons says he's grateful that the homeowner opened the door when she did. CPS will talk to detectives and ultimately decide which parent gets custody. President Trump is threatening to close the U.S. southern border and cut off all aid to Central America. His threat was in a series of tweets and was in response to news of a caravan of migrants from Central America trying to reach the U.S. He even threatened to use the military to shut down the border. He said if countries allow citizens or others to journey through their borders to the U.S. with the intention of entering here illegally, all payments to them will stop. And the former head of USA Gymnastics was arrested for allegedly tampering with evidence in the Larry Nassar sexual abuse case. Steve Penny was indicted by a grand jury here in Texas. He's accused of ordering documents to be taken from the Carolee Ranch where elite gymnasts trained. It's also where Nassar victims say they were abused. If Penny's convicted of the felon, he could serve up to 10 years in prison. We go to Tony DeCopel for the latest from New York. Well, looking ahead, if you have sensitive documents you need to get rid of, we've got your back. Join us for Super Shredder Days next Wednesday here at our CBS 19 studios. We're in Tyler at Troop in the Loop, and it'll be happening from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you missed that one, don't worry. We'll have another Shredder Day in Longview. That's next Thursday, October 25th, from 7 till 6 at the Austin Bank Building. Now, that location is 911 West Loop 281. The best news, we're shredding these documents for you all for free. And it's possible because of Arclitect Shredding Company, Henry & Peters Accounting Firm, and iCare Associates of East Texas. You can also drop off electronics. Now, for more details about that, go to our website, cbs19.tv. And coming up, a school shooting overseas claims the lives of 20 people. More on the terror that fell on the technical school after the break.
Kelly Ellis is a nurse, a mother, and the newest member of a growing group no one wants to be a part of.
I'm okay. I mean,
like so many nurses and mothers.
Not really, but
she's trying to be strong.
To be honest, my heart's in a million pieces.
It's a little hard these days. This week, her son Dylan Alvarado committed suicide.
All the bullying at school has been affecting his emotional state.
While he dealt with his own personal struggles, depression and anxiety, she says the bullying just became too much.
He never wanted me to report it because he felt like it would make it worse.
Dylan was a student at Robert E. Lee High School. His mother said he was made fun of daily, so he asked to be homeschooled.
Then it just got to be too much, and then he decided to take his life away.
So now, just days after losing her son, she has a message for others struggling like he did.
Don't be scared to talk to people, and nothing in this world is worth taking your own life. If this will just help save one kid's life, then it would just melt my heart and help bring it back to become whole again.
When you think of a prison, some words that may come to mind are fear, isolation, confinement. But a new program based in sustainable agriculture is transforming not only the perception, but the men incarcerated here, the officers, and other prisons across the state of Texas. Slowly, steadily, their herb and fresh produce gardens grew at record-breaking rates. Last year, they harvested a whopping 1.9 million pounds from their 400-acre garden. And that same year, their herb garden alone yielded 14,000 pounds. That harvest has found its way to victims of Hurricane Harvey, homeless shelters, family centers, children's homes, food banks, and churches. Meanwhile, officers started noticing an unprecedented change in the offenders.
I've been here for 29 years, okay? And I have not seen anything impact offenders as much as this has.
Correctional Officer Maria Hinojosa runs the Herbs Behind Bars garden. And not just anyone is eligible to participate. You have to be part of what's called the Honor Squad.
I have a lot of offenders that walk up to me and they want to come work for me. And I'll tell them right off the bat, I'm going to check your disciplinary record. I don't want no troublemakers out here. If you were at one time a troublemaker and I see that you've made a little bit of progress or you're trying, I'll give you that chance to get out here and try to be what the rest of these guys have become.
It's a chance that they may never have been given on the outside.
It changes a lot of them. I have some offenders that some people would look at them by just looking at their criminal record, and they would say they are hardened criminals. But they come out here, makes them care about stuff. It teaches them to be kind and gentle and to be somebody else.
In terms of rehabilitation, this program has had nearly a 100% success rate for the Michael unit, a rate that started with Delvin Mouton.
I came out here and I had no goal, no motive. I got locked up real young, so really didn't have no sense of responsibility. I came working out here for Lieutenant White in the field force, and they gave me a chance to be a good leader, use my leadership skills, gave me an opportunity to learn, to help instruct other men in what we do out here, taught me responsibility, gave me an extra sense of hope, also let me know that I wasn't just an offender anymore, I was still human. Sometimes there's no way for us to give back. You know, some guys don't have family members to give back to. So knowing that what we're doing here with your hands, your own hard work and sweat, is going outside the gate to help somebody that doesn't have, man, that's wonderful.
I'm here for capital murder. I was gang affiliated for many years. That's the kind of reason I got sent over here.
Johnny Davila was in another unit, moved here to maximum security because of his violent history.
I gave my life to the Lord, and when I did, it's like I got put in here.
He says the transition already going on inside him crystallized when he joined the Honor Squad.
Reading the word about how, harvesting, reaping, sowing, I had an understanding of it, but I learned with my hands. So as I did it with my hands, I had revelation. I said, wow, this is what it's talking about. I mean, this is watching something you minister to grow, render aid, you watch it grow, and then you harvest it, and you reap the benefits of that harvest.
Urban farming is a massive, fast-growing industry in major cities, cutting costs, bringing people closer to their food source, and reducing carbon footprints.
Like right now, the water level is a little bit high, so that tells me that I would need to come over here and make a small adjustment to turn it down.
Vernon McCleskey tends to the hydroponic and aquaponic sections of the operation.
Because if it's too high, it'll overflow and then we lose our chemicals.
And he now sees a future outside the unit.
In terms of a career, I would like to have, my own hydroponics and stuff at home. I also want to start a small landscaping business. That way I can give back to my community as well as earn a living for myself.
Just used to tell people to go buy an Acura, one of those cars. Now it's going to be growing lettuce out. Everything gets recycled at our unit.
All along the way, Mac and the team have painstakingly chronicled each success, each failure, each bathtub, each trampoline net, for the sole purpose of sharing their knowledge so other organizations can share the same success. Agency leadership hosted them to train bosses from across the region, and microsystems started popping up throughout the Texas correctional system.
Is it a second opportunity at life almost?
Kinda, yeah. This is like them being able to look back and go, even though I messed up in the past, I can actively make a difference outside in the free world.
And that's hope.
Yes. And some of our guys, gives them a reason to wake up in the morning. It gives them a reason, hey, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to weed flowers for a couple hours, but I know I'm going to be making a difference.
Ultimately, experts say this could mean saving millions of taxpayers' dollars through reducing food costs, reducing healthcare issues, recidivism rates, and much more. We visited with a man who is doing his part to promote sustainable agriculture on his side of the country. Tommy Norris is the chairman of the Sustainability Committee for the ACA. He then created greenprisons.org, a project designed to foster a national conversation on sustainability in corrections. He says the Michael Unit's hydroponic operation is the largest he's ever seen.
You get a real bang for your buck in terms of taxpayer investment in these programs and also into these people. 95% of these folks are going to come back and be your neighbor. Wouldn't you rather have them grow in a garden than cooking meth? It's that simple. Give them the skills, different skills, and new skills, and 9 times out of 10 they'll do it. I've met some ex-offenders that have been involved in these programs that have found jobs in the community that can't imagine themselves doing anything else now.
For a few hours a day, offenders leave the unit's fast pace and reflect. Officer Hinojosa says their lives aren't the only ones that have changed.
For me, it's like I feel like I've changed someone's life. At the end of the day, I've accomplished something.
Meanwhile, the message of hope is spreading, much like the roots of the project and the growth of the lives cultivating it. A message that confinement doesn't have to be confining. In Tennessee Colony, I'm Sasha Wilson.